Why is it that every time I turn this camera on, I just feel like I owe you guys an apology for it having been so long since we've met like this? I promise I'm trying to do better. I'm sort of getting back into the swing of regularly creating content again. Life has just been crazy busy, and I know I say that a lot, but like, let's be real. When is life ever not crazy busy? Long story short, I am trying to get better. If this is your first impression of me, sorry, but also welcome. I'm Rachel, and this is the Book Bowl Challenge. My channel's named that because of this fishbowl right back here. There are 500 little miniature, about this big, miniature versions of books inside that fishbowl. The books that are in there are considered to be some of the greatest books of all time by someone somewhere decided that they were great books that everyone should read. So I created the mini books. They're in the fishbowl. I reach in, I pull one out, I read it, I talk about it. The last book I read for the Book Bowl Challenge was Holes, and I've been terrible because one of the things I really wanted to do with that book is because so many people reached out to me and said that they read this book in school, and I had so many teachers say that they teach this book in school. I really wanted to set up like an interview with a teacher, and I did have a couple of you guys reach out to me to set one up, and I am so sorry. I am just the worst. It's totally fallen between the cracks. I still want to do that. So stand by. I want to get that interview set up. For this video, I have a little bit of a fall update for you, a little book haul, and a reading update. And then, of course, I know the main event, we have to pull the next book for the Book Bowl Challenge. Let's start by going through the fall updates. This fall has been such a fun and exciting fall for bookish things. This is now my second year volunteering for this wonderful organization in Kansas City called Lead to Read. Basically what it is this. Once a week, I go to an elementary school in my area. I get paired up with a first grader, and we just sit down and read for half an hour. That's it. That's all there is to it. This is my second year doing it. It's so fun. It's so rewarding. I'm of the belief that every book content creator should be giving back somehow. Next up, the Heartland Book Fest. This is my second year attending the Heartland Book Fest here in Kansas City, but something special about this year is that I had the honor that they asked me to speak on a panel. It is right down here. Bookfluencers sharing stories through social. So it was myself and these 4 other incredible women that I've been so lucky to get to know. We talked about what it's like to make book content, the ethical dilemmas around book content creation, like what books we choose to talk about, what types of authors always get talked about on the internet. We covered everything. It was so fun. The conversation was incredible. It was enlightening. And I just really love and appreciate all of those women. I will put up their names and handles. Please check them out. They're really, really great. The best part about this year, though, I got to meet Taylor Jenkins Reid. She was there speaking at the Heartland Book Fest promoting her book Atmosphere, which I had not read at the time, but a little spoiler for something I'll talk about later in this video. I have since read it. She is so incredible to hear speak. She's funny, she's charming. She really dug in and talked about like the behind the scenes process of how she wrote this book, how she researched it, the science components. It was really incredible. If you ever have the chance to see or hear Taylor Jenkins Reid talk, you have to take it. One last fall update for you. My city put on this incredible event called Book Beats, where they invited everyone to one of our local parks. Everyone brings their own book and we all just read. And it was a gorgeous fall day. They had a DJ there who was playing sort of lo-fi and Kansas City jazz music. I got out of my comfort zone as a content creator. I thought I would just show up to Book Beats with my book and read and be merry, but something about being there in the park and everyone was reading and just in a good mood, I just sort of built up my courage and I walked up to people and I asked them if they would show off what book they were reading. It's as simple as that. But I was so nervous to do that. And I literally just had them hold up their book for like 2 seconds. But what you don't see behind the screen is that people were so willing to have conversations with me about the books they were reading. It was so great and such a growing experience for me as a content creator. I definitely want to do more of that type of thing. Reading can feel like such a solo hobby that you do in your cozy chair all by yourself, but there's this whole other side of reading that is such a social activity, and I really feel like I tapped into it that night. This fall, I also did one of my favorite things, which is book shopping, and I probably do it too much, and we in the book community know that reading books and buying books are two entirely separate hobbies. This time I was tapping into the buying book side. The first bookstore was Old Town Books in Alexandria. This was my first time in that kind of like old town of Alexandria, and this bookstore fit perfectly into the character of the neighborhood. It was just so cute, and I loved it there. I did show some decent restraint, and I only got one book. The Message. Now, this is not in the book bowl, but this author is Ta-Nehisi Coates. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm not entirely sure what possessed me to pick this book up and buy it, other than recognizing the author. Let me know if you can relate to this. Sometimes a book just speaks to you from the shelf. The next bookstore, which was equally cute but completely different vibes, was Jackson Street Booksellers in Omaha, Nebraska. Jackson Street Booksellers is like the epitome of like dusty used bookshelves, floor to ceiling shelves, everything is wood. You could lose hours just picking through the books in there, and I could have easily lost so many hours in there. I walked away with 4 books, which I still kind of feel like was showing some restraint because I kind of was in and out fast. We had a dinner reservation to get to, but here are the books I got. I know you guys are going to be really excited about at least one of these. Okay, first off, Stardust, Neil Gaiman. I'm really not going to get into it, but we've talked about this before. The only ethical way to buy Neil Gaiman is at a used bookstore. So I was looking for The Ocean at the End of the Lane to add to my like 5-star book stack there. They didn't have it, but they had Stardust. Next up is a book bowl book. The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay, Pulitzer Prize winner, Michael Chabon. Okay, next up, please don't judge me. I bought a book that I've already read. Night Circus. This one, I think, I'll have to look at my rating. I think it was a 4.5 for me. Does anyone else do this? You buy a book that you've already read just to have it on the shelf? Anyway, I did. And the last one, which I know that you guys are going to just go feral for, I found a used copy of Fourth Wing. And it's in pretty decent shape too. I actually don't really feel like this book has been read. The pages don't show like any wear at all. So I think I might have scored. You know, it's a little bit dinged up on the edges. Like maybe it's been tossed around from shelf to shelf, but I just don't know if I believe that these pages have been flipped through. You know what I mean? 5 new to me books total. Shout out Old Town Books. Shout out Jackson Street Booksellers. I just really love supporting local bookstores, and it's one of my favorite things to do when I'm traveling to a new city to bring home some souvenirs. Speaking of supporting local, I have a very exciting announcement. Literally today, I got accepted to be a bookshop.org affiliate. So what does that mean? Usually when I talk about books on Instagram or books for the Book Bowl Challenge, I will post up a little affiliate link where people can go to buy it. I get a little commission off that. But I am so embarrassed to admit, well, you guys know, I'm so embarrassed that this has gone on for as long as it has. I've used Amazon. I used Amazon for those affiliate links. Amazon is just destroying the local book industry. I cannot believe that I haven't moved off of Amazon sooner, but I'm happy that it's happening now. So instead of Amazon links, I'm going to start using Bookshop links. This is all very new. I'm still getting it set up, so I will talk about this more some other time, but you are going to start to see some of those changes on my account, and I'm just excited that this more closely aligns with my values as a book reader and a book influencer. Okay, one last personal update before we get into the really good stuff like reading updates and drawing the next book for the Book Bowl Challenge. My mom was here. Oh, I just love having my mom here. She lives in Panama. I don't get to see her very often. It was amazing having her here. But why do I bring this up with you guys? Because, of course, while my mom was here, I had to convince her to take the Book Bowl Challenge. I interviewed her. She sat right down in this room. We talked about some of her favorite books and the books she's read and her reading journey. We talked about a book that we read together. I'll touch on in just a sec. And then she pulled a book for the Book Bowl Challenge. I'm still working on editing that footage, so that'll be out soon. And I don't want to spoil the Book Bowl drawing, but I think it's just going to happen to work out that that's going to be book 50 for the Book Bowl Challenge. I placed a hold. It's kind of a long hold, so we'll see what the timing looks like. I mentioned that we read the same book while she was here. So this is not for the Book Bowl Challenge, but we both read Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was telling her all about the Heartland Book Fest. We were talking about Taylor Jenkins Reid, about Atmosphere. I haven't read it yet. She was really interested in it. So while she was here, we decided to knock it out. We literally took the book, 2 bookmarks in the book at the same time, and we read it. It was a little bit like a miniature book club between just the 2 of us. Let me know if you read this book too. Interviewing my mom was so fun, and doing the little snippet content at Book Beats was just so enjoyable that I think that's a direction I want to explore more with the Book Bowl Challenge and content creation. Just talking to people and having more conversations about books. So I have lots of ideas of people I could interview, and I want to do some more virtual interviews as well. We'll have one on deck for Holes, but definitely don't be shocked if that you start seeing more of that human connection type component to this content. That it's just something that I realize is really important to me, and I want to share that with you guys too. Let's just really quickly go through a reading update. You guys already know, you can shame me for it. I've been horrible about reading for the Book Bowl Challenge, but I've been great about reading for the book club that I do here in my apartment complex with my neighbors. So I have a couple of books to show you that I've been reading and have on deck to read. First up, James. We read this one for the book club. Percival Everett was here at the Heartland Book Fest talking. He's amazing to hear speak. This was an incredible book. Highly recommend. The next book is The Great Believers by Rebecca Makkai. It's a dual timeline book about the AIDS epidemic in Chicago in the 80s, and there's also a more modern timeline about Paris and lost family and all kinds of, there's like an art situation going on. Really interesting book. This month for book club, we're reading poetry. We're doing Poetry Unbound, which is just a collection of poems, 50 poems to open your world. I think there's even one by Margaret Atwood in here. So this is on deck. I'm excited to dig into it. I think poetry is really interesting, and I think it'll be a really interesting conversation with the book club too. After poetry, our next book selection is Frederick Bachman, My Friends. This will be our book club's second Bachman. We read A Man Called Uva for book club. It was really well received, so I'm excited about this one too. And it just so happens that I saw on social media that this is also a Fallon book club pick recently. And that is the reading wrap up. Okay, now for the main event. It's time to pull the next book for the Book Bowl Challenge. Got the Book Bowl. This is going to be book 49. All right, let's get to it. Okay, this one's called The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. Let's look this one up, see what we're getting ourselves into. This was published in 1905. It has 351 pages, and it has a 3.97 on Goodreads. The genres are, it's tagged as a classic, fiction, historical fiction, American. First published in 1905, The House of Mirth shocked the New York society it so deftly chronicles, portraying the moral, social, and economic restraints on a woman who dared to claim the privileges of marriage without assuming the responsibilities. Lily Bart, beautiful, witty, and sophisticated, is accepted by old money and courted by the growing tribe of nouveau riches. But as she nears 30, her foothold becomes precarious. A poor girl with expensive tastes, she needs a husband to preserve her social standing and to maintain her in the luxury she has come to expect. While many have sought her, something fastidiousness or integrity prevents her from making a suitable match. Okay, immediate first thoughts on reading this. I have been so obsessed lately with the Gilded Age, and this sounds so similar to the Gilded Age, like early 1900s, New York society, old money, new money, making a suitable marriage. Tell me I'm crazy here. For that fact alone, I am so excited to read this. This is also not the only Edith Wharton in the book bowl. She has The Age of Innocence, which is her more popular novel, also in the book bowl. Right away, first impressions, I'm just thinking this is going to be like Gilded Age, but also like how similar is it going to be to Jane Austen or Little Women? I think with books like this, it's always going to come down to our heroine. How is she written? What's her personality like? I have my work cut out for me reading The House of Mirth, but I also have to get cracking on editing the footage of my mom being here, our discussion of Atmosphere, and the book that she pulled out of the book bowl. You can expect to hear more about my bookshop.org affiliate status. I will get the Holes interview set up, and you can expect to see more content in general. I'm going to go reserve this from the library. Let me know if you've read Wharton before, The House of Mirth, The Age of Innocence, or if you're like me and you're completely obsessed with the Gilded Age.